Who was the dumbest person you ever met? How did you know? I had a guy at work tell me that Benjamin Franklin was the 100th president because he's on the $100 bill. She thought I was trying to trick her into believing that Adolf Hitler was real. I know a guy who thinks the special tea he drinks negates the negative health effects of his pack-a-day smoking habit. We hired a girl a couple years ago. I told her where the manager's office was her first day. Second day, she asked me where the manager's office was. So I walked her to the door. Third day, she asks me where it is again. Our manager chewed out the girl who trained our new recruit for not teaching the job properly. The trainer pulled out her phone and showed the manager a picture of the girl wearing the uniform backwards and said, "Look at this. This is untrainable." New girl got fired about 3 weeks later for stealing the product because she thought she got it for free because she was an employee. I had a boss who told me that she never kept leftovers from a meal because that's how polio got started. I asked a temp at work to weigh a couple of lever arch files for postage. She came back and told me they were 65 kilograms. I asked if it were possible that it was 5 kilograms, but she insisted it wasn't. We argued about it for a good 5 minutes. It wasn't until I asked her how much she weighed, 59 kilograms, that it finally twigged that these two small folders couldn't possibly weigh more than her. A girl in my class in middle school genuinely thought people had landed on the sun. Her explanation for this belief was to insist that the moon and sun are made of the same stuff. My sister-in-law is an anti-vaxxer and believes her kid's cerebral palsy was caused by vaccines despite the kid being born with 1/4 of her brain physically missing. A friend that told me that drinking protein shakes means that my muscles are all fake and fat. He had just purchased a new, high-powered BB gun. We had just finished shooting it in the backyard when he points the barrel at my face and pulls the trigger several times. I tell him to stop being an idiot and he just laughs and says it's not loaded. Then the moron puts the barrel in his mouth and shoots a BB right through his tongue and into his uvula. I live in southern Spain. I once met a girl from the U.S. who was here on some kind of exchange program. When I asked her how did she like Spain so far, she said, "I'm loving it. I just don't know why the plane took so long to get here. I mean, we are just a bit below Mexico. I don't know, Eddie, the flight was so long." Then I told her that we were in Europe. And she didn't believe me. Her reply was, "Europe? It can't be. Everyone speaks Spanish, so we must be somewhere near Mexico for sure." She was in uni. I still don't know how or why. A girl in my sophomore year of high school who thought there were 6 months in a year. She was really nice, but very surprised and confused when we tried to set her right. A girl in my art class in high school thought there was just a part of the cow called meat. When we explained meat is the muscles, she freaked out and became vegetarian. One time my now ex-girlfriend was watching Maury Povich, one of those paternity test episodes with the classic "you are not the father" moment. And she turns to me and says, "If we ever have a baby and I found out I'm not the mother, I'll kill you." Thankfully we didn't end up reproducing. Was working at a grocery store over a decade ago. I wouldn't call the kid dumb, because he just didn't know. It's more of a funny thing. He was new and the manager asked him to face the store when he asked what he could do. Facing means you make sure the aisles look nice and neat and that the product is pulled forward and visibly facing you as you walk down the aisle. The kid couldn't be found until someone told the manager one of the workers was just standing in the parking lot facing the store. I will never forget that. I was working retail at the time, and this lady walks in and asks me to tell her when it is 10:15 a.m. She needs to catch a bus. We were slow, so I obliged. 10:15 a.m. rolls around and I tell her, so she drops her stuff and runs out to get the bus. 5 minutes later she comes back, it's scowling. And she then lectures me on how to tell time. How much is a quarter? 25 cents. So why would you tell me a quarter after 10 is 10? 15 It's 10:25 am. Someone asked me if Japanese was a real language. In high school. Twice. A friend of mine is a sweet guy but is overweight and balding and quite frankly, not very attractive in the face. Well, one day he lets us know that he has met a girl and she might be the one. He's in his late 20s for reference. Well, I've met some of the jewels he's hooked up with in the past, so I wasn't expecting too much. Finally meet this girl and she is drop dead gorgeous and has a body that is incredible. I talked to her for a while and she is super friendly and outgoing. I'm stoked for my boy. He found the best he's ever gonna find. Anyway, the night progresses and the new couple starts talking about their plans for an upcoming trip to New Mexico, and she starts telling us how excited she is because she has never gone to another country before. I laughed a bit and realized she was dead serious. My friend just looked at me and shook his head, and I knew that he knew. She was dumb as a ducking rock, but she was his dumb ducking rock. For what it's worth, he helped her get her passport. A coworker of mine sent an email to our company's global mailing list. Our company has 5,000 employees. The email contained a 1 GB attachment. It shut down the entire company for a day. My former boss was worried that the island of Manhattan would sink with all the extra visitors for New Year's and the ball dropping. She thought islands float, and when she found out that wasn't true, she thought it was so funny that she told everyone the story. She was later fired for withholding a pay raise from someone on her team because he didn't accept her sexual advances. He had the texts to prove it. I'm late but car dashboard reads 40 miles to E. My car says in 40 miles. We'll be going east. She had a mug from Disneyland with the name Ronald on it. She thought you just picked a mug of the name you like and not your actual ducking name. I remember a guy I knew in middle school who put money into a vending machine and then his item didn't come out. Then he put more money into the machine and 2 of the item he wanted came out. He then exclaimed, "All right. 2 for 1. White girl didn't think she could get pregnant because the guy was Mexican. Swear on my life. Worked with a lady who I convinced you could buy full-size dinosaurs online. Also believed Denzel Washington was the president when Obama was in office, no lie." While visiting the Lincoln Memorial, I ran into an older couple discussing the inscription of the Gettysburg Address on the walls. The woman asked the man what this was in reference to and if it was about America, and the man said something to the effect of, "No, this couldn't be about America. We never had any slaves here in our country. It must be about what happened in country X. These were 2 Americans." Danjit. Late to the party. Anyway, I was a cook a few years ago, and this particular busy night we ran out of lobster mac and cheese. This one waitress could not understand how this was possible and just kept nagging in disbelief. I got annoyed to the point that I told her the reason for this was that there was a shortage of people with small enough hands to milk lobster's tiny nipples. Hence a worldwide shortage of lobster milk to make that dish. I had to come clean with her when she started telling this to customers and they demanded to speak with a manager. My high school physics teacher, he insisted that Canada was pronounced Canada because if they are Canadians, then why isn't it Canadian? Was dating this girl a while back and we were going to dinner one night and talking about chicken cutlets or something, and she was like, "I wonder what part of the cow it comes from." I literally was in such shock that this 30-year-old woman with a master's degree just made such a ridiculous statement. Completely dumbfounded. Well, you made it to the bottom of the thread and didn't see myself mentioned.